Hi, I'm Antonio from Hireflix. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can brand your own interview links, both the individual links as well as the public link, so that instead of having this app.hireflix.com on the link, you can actually have your own domain on those links, such as interview.thebusinessmarathon.com or any other domain that you have. This feature is a great way to further brand your experience, your interviewing experience, so that candidates see your own domain on the links and they don't see Hireflix there. To activate this feature is not very hard if you know what you're doing, but it will definitely feel hard and confusing if you've never done this before. So please bear with me, watch the full video because I will explain everything on this video. Regardless if you already know what DNS records are, how to add them or not, this video will be valuable because I'm going to be giving you tips at each step of the way, telling you, things that can go wrong, things that could be confusing. So please watch everything and you will be all set by the end of the video. Let's do this. Okay, so now to activate this feature, there are 4 steps that you need to follow. Let's go one by one through each step and I'll be commenting and showing you everything. First, we need to find who is the person that manages your domain and that can add DNS records to your domain. Now, who is this person? Well, if you are, let's say, an entrepreneur, you have your own business, probably you bought your domain, like let's say the Business Marathon is your business. So you will have bought this domain, maybe you have it registered on Namecheap or GoDaddy or other places. Then you are the one that has access to your domain configurations, and you are the one that will be doing all of the next steps. If you are the bigger company, or maybe you have outsourced your website or someone else that manages it, then you won't be the one doing this. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find the person that manages your domain. Usually is the technical team, like the IT team or the webmaster. If you've outsourced your website, you're going to have to find who that person is. And I guarantee there is someone managing your domain because there is someone paying for your domain every year, someone that manages all that. So you have to find who that person is. And then you will have to tell that person, please add 3 records to the DNS records of my domain. And you will send them the instructions of what records they need to add. You will also send them hopefully this video so they can also check it in case they have any questions. And then they will add the records, which is this here. And then after that, you'll be able to activate the feature from Hireflix. And I'll explain all of this later step by step, okay? But that's step number 1, identifying who is the right person to activate this. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Okay, the second step is to decide which subdomain you want to use for your links. And then you put it on, you will put that on Hireflix, and I'll show you, so that we tell you what DNS records you need to add. So let's do that. Now, this basically determines what will appear on the link here. So instead of app.hireflix.com, you could have interview.thebusinessmarathon.com, like I showed you before, right? And you actually decide that. Okay, and let me show you how to do that. You have to go to your account, custom domains, and then you will come here. Here is where you have to put the subdomain that you want to use for your links, both the public link and the individual links. Let's say you have a website called thebusinessmarathon.com. Okay, this is your business, this is your website. You can then come here and then what? Do you put thebusinessmarathon.com and that's it? No, you cannot just put your domain here like this. You have to use a subdomain. So there has to be something before the domain. For example, app.thebusinessmarathon.com or video.thebusinessmarathon.com. Or what I suggest, which is interview.thebusinessmarathon.com. Try to keep this short. At the same time, interview, I think, gives a lot of good context to the candidate, so it looks very good. Once done, click Set Domain, and all of these will appear below. Now, in this case, since I've already configured these records, it's detecting that this is ready, that I can already go ahead and activate. But let's put something different that I've not configured so that you see what happens. And this is what you will see initially. As you can see, it says status not ready. So it's waiting until you configure it to validate it. And you also have some options here that I'm going to talk about in a second. Let's recap. So first, we identified who's going to be actually configuring this. Second, we're going to come here and we're going to tell the system which link subdomain we want to use. Of course, this has to be a domain that you own, right? Like the Business Marathon is my domain, I'm paying for it. So you have to use the domain that you own. And then the system will tell you which records you need to add. Next step. How does this work? Where do I have to add this, etc.? First of all, if someone else is the one that manages the domain and is going to be doing this for you, then you don't have to worry about any of this. All you have to do is click here, download to a CS file, okay? And it will download a CS file for you with the records. Let me show you. You see, this is exactly what's being downloaded. And all you have to do is send this Excel to the person that's going to be doing this and tell them, please add these 3 records to my DNS records. And they'll know exactly what to do. They'll go to the provider and add the records there and everything will be fine, okay? And tell them, please, once you have done it, tell me so that I can then check in Hireflix that everything is perfectly configured, right? Because once they configure this themselves, after some hours, then these will change from not ready to, let me show you, to ready, okay? And then that's when you can go ahead and activate this feature. If they've not configured it properly or whatever, then you will not see the ready there. You will see this not ready status there. Okay, so again, if you are not the one that's going to actually be configuring this, all you have to do is download this CSV file and send it to whomever will be configuring this, and they will know what to do. You can also send them this video, by the way, in case they have any questions, because there are some nuances that I'm going to discuss in a second that they may encounter when actually configuring this on their domain registry. Now, let's talk about how do we actually add this to the domain DNS configurations. So this part of the video is either for those of you that are doing this yourself, or for those of you that were told to do this by someone else that watched this video, but you don't really know exactly how to do this. So let me help you. Okay, so first you have to log in to wherever you manage your domain, right? In my case, I manage this domain in Namecheap, but maybe you're using GoDaddy or Cloudflare or Amazon. You know, you have to know where your domain is hosted and who's hosting it. And then you should have access to that account, right? And once you go to that account, there is always going to be a section that lists your domain. And somewhere here, there is going to be a section where you can configure your DNS settings. If you can't find it, if you don't know how to do it, just contact your provider. Like ask Namecheap, like, hey, I want to add DNS records. How do I do it? Or Google it. Just put how to add CNAME and TXT records on GoDaddy or Namecheap or whatever. And I guarantee you're going to find resources to do that. It's pretty similar everywhere, but there are some small differences that you need to keep in mind. The best solution here is to contact your provider directly if you don't know exactly what to do, and they'll tell you what to do. Now, let me tell you the Namecheap example, because this is the one that I'm using, and so that you also have one example of the kind of things that you can encounter that could be confusing. In the case of Namecheap, just so that you know, I actually had this on custom DNS, and when I had it on custom DNS, on my DNS settings section, I actually couldn't see any section where I could add my records. So I was confused. I was like, there has to be a way to add records. I cannot find it. Where is it? And once I asked them, I realized that, gosh, actually I have to change the type of the DNS name servers here to basic so that I can then go ahead and edit them. So you see, this is something confusing that I didn't know, and I learned it, and now I can add records. Perfect. A second thing happened. I basically configured my subdomain like this, and then I just went ahead and copied each one of these values in the right places here. So I click add new record, I put a CNAME, then for the host, I put all of this, blah, blah, blah. And then after doing everything and waiting for 24 hours, it actually didn't work. And I was very confused, and I was, what's going on? Right? Like, because I was copying everything exactly like that. And what happened is that some providers, such as Namecheap and GoDaddy, they actually automatically add this domain part to your record. So you don't actually have to add it yourself. On the key host section, you don't have to add .thebusinessmarathon.com. You only have to add the beginning part. So if you look here, I actually only have the beginning part, acmechallenge.interview, only interview, right? Instead of interview.thebusinessmarathon.com. So the domain part is not needed on Namecheap because they put it automatically. Now, some other providers may not put it automatically, so then you do have to put it. This is the only part where you'll have to ask them or do a test. Try with the domain. If it doesn't work, take it off and it will work probably. If it doesn't work, just contact them. So this is the kind of thing that can be a bit confusing, okay? But once you know this, everything is so easy. You just add the records. So let's say, for example, I'm going to add a CNAME record. So I click here, I already have them, but let's assume I don't. So I come here, I add a CNAME record. What is the host? Well, the host is this thing here. So I copy it and I paste it there. What is the value? Is this one. What is the TTL? Hey, another nuance here. We suggest to put 600 seconds on the TTL, which is 10 minutes. However, some providers, such as Namecheap, don't allow you to put 10 minutes. They only give you 1 minute, 5 minutes, 20. Don't worry. Anything between 5 and 10 minutes is the preferred. Not less than 5, no more than 10. That's what I would suggest. Ideally, if you don't have either of those, pick whatever is closest to 10 minutes, okay? And that's it. In this case, I have 5, no worries. I just pick 5, 5, 5, and then it's done, okay? So then I go to the next one, and I go to the next one. You see, for this one, it's a text record. It's not a CNAME record, and that's it. I added everything, in this case, removing the domain, as I explained, and then I saved, and that's it. And then after, in my case, was about an hour or less, like 30 minutes, I already could come here, and I realized that this was ready. Awesome, done. Now, I'm done with this, basically, okay? And so out of the 4 steps, now we've done this too. I've added the records. Now, after waiting some hours, then you can activate the feature. And this is the step I'm on right now, right? So now I can come here, I can click activate. And now once I click activate, it will take up to 10 minutes to actually activate. So don't worry, be patient. After 10 minutes, if you refresh, you will see that changes and it will actually be active. And once you go and check your interviews, you'll see all of the links have changed to the proper one with the new domain. Now, don't worry if you had some interviews already on the system that had the Hireflix link, those will still work. So don't worry, nothing is going to break. However, careful, if you've already activated this and you've given people interview links with this subdomain, and then you deactivate this so that it goes back to the Hireflix links, then of course, all of those links that you've sent won't work anymore. So be careful. And this is everything. So let me summarize. First, you have to find who manages your domain so that they can add stuff in there and all. They can add the records. Second, you have to decide which subdomain to use. Then you have to either send this information to whomever will put it on the record so they can do it, or do it yourself if you have access. Then wait for some hours. This will turn to ready. Click activate and everything will be done. Now, one last little thing that I want to mention. If, let's say, you come into here, okay, you put your domain, let's say app.thebusinessmarathon.com. Then let's say you want to download the CSV file to send it to your IT manager because she's going to be doing this. That's perfect. Now you go out of here to anywhere else. Now, when you go back to that section, this will be empty like this. Don't worry, it's totally fine. Nothing changes. All you have to do is put again app.thebusinessmarathon.com and then you'll see everything again. So the fact that when you go out of here, it clears the information, it's not going to affect anything. The person that you gave them the information will be able to add the records anyway, and you can come here anytime, put the same domain, thebusinessmarathon.com, click set domain, and you'll see this active eventually once it's ready. So don't worry about this disappearing once you go anywhere else. And with this, that's everything. I hope this helped. I know it's a bit long video, but I wanted to make sure it was perfectly clear. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.